All right, we got a lot of news to get to. One, Steve Bannon is now being asked to release at least 15 hours of Epstein footage from Epstein's brother. The FBI, we're learning now, was instructed by Donald Trump to tell him every time his name was mentioned in the Epstein documents. And Epstein's ex, not Ghislaine Maxwell, another ex, is revealing what Donald Trump and Epstein's real relationship was like. Let's get into this Steve Bannon stuff first. So this is Mark Epstein, who is saying that, and this is NBC News reporting it, that they want to release the videotapes of 15 hours of unseen footage. In 2021, the New York Post ran an online trailer of an upcoming documentary about Jeffrey Epstein that was produced by former Trump advisor Steve Bannon. All the depravity you've done against women, among other things. But that documentary never came out. Now, Mark Epstein, who is Jeffrey Epstein's brother, is asking to see the footage. Quote, "Let me see the videotapes. He's my brother." Mark Epstein said that Bannon, the MAGA personality, worked with his brother, then a convicted sex offender, after the Miami Herald in 2018 chronicled victims' details of abuse by Jeffrey Epstein. It goes on to say, quote, and this is really, really crazy, Steve Bannon has 15 or 16 hours of videotape of Jeffrey Epstein. He was trying to help Jeffrey Epstein rehabilitate his reputation. This is Steve Bannon. This was Donald Trump's senior advisor, still one of his closest allies, trying to rehabilitate Jeffrey Epstein. So we have a president who's trying to keep Epstein's files from being released to the public, and we have an advisor who is actually trying to make Jeffrey Epstein look like a good guy again, when this was after he was convicted with these terrible, awful crimes. Now, ABC, I just want to say, ABC has reported that Donald Trump is going to try to release, he put out this thing where he directed Pam Bondi to unseal the grand jury transcripts. I guess he's trying to do something to make this go away, to be like, look what I'm doing. But Doug Jones, who I think should have been our attorney general when Biden was president, said this. He said, "Look, folks, this is nothing more than an empty gesture. Don't fall for it. It means nothing. There's nothing under the exceptions under Rule 6E that applies here. Moreover, the grand jury transcripts will only reveal stuff about Epstein, not too much about others. Transcripts are not documents or client lists or even bank records. And by the way, asking Bondi to use her discretion in releasing pertinent transcripts is laughable. Pertinent means anything that hurts others. Anything that implicates Trump or any of his buddies will be fake and not pertinent." And now we are learning that there probably is a lot of information about Donald Trump in there, because he, according to Senator Dick Durbin, Pam Bondi ordered the FBI to flag Donald Trump's name in the Epstein files. Attorney Pam Bondi made FBI agents trawl through more than 100,000 investigative files related to child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and flag any that mentioned Donald Trump, said Senator Dick Durbin, the ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He has written to Pam Bondi demanding an explanation for the move, along with what he says apparent discrepancies regarding the handling of the Epstein files. Goes on to say, according to information received by Durbin, whose committee oversees the Justice Department, Bondi pressured the FBI to put about 1,000 personnel in its Information Management Division on 24-hour shifts to review the Epstein-related records. They had people working around the clock to determine whether or not Donald Trump was in these documents. And I guess what we now know is that he likely is. I'm just going to say that motherfucker's in these documents. He is in these documents. He's in the Epstein files. And that is a reason why they don't want to release them. And that is a reason why it's a hoax, because here is the chain of events. Donald Trump runs for office for a second time. Everyone's talking about the Epstein files. He's ginning up his base. Maybe he doesn't even know what's in those files, but he's saying they're going to release them. We're going to release them. And then FBI and Pam Bondi all say they're going to release the files. They're going to release the files. And before they do that, Donald Trump says, well, why don't you just give them a one-over for me? Let's look through them. It turns out they're extremely incriminating. And so then Donald Trump says, we're not releasing them. Pam Bondi is instructed to say there's no new information in these files. And then Donald Trump goes on to say, because his base won't let up, that it's actually a Democratic hoax. Obama made them, Clinton made them, Biden made them, and that's why they're not being released. Because Donald Trump's in them, and so now he's trying to do what he always does, which is call it a hoax or a witch hunt in order to make it look like he's being persecuted. Well, he's not, and we all know he's not. Now, Midas Touch is also out with some new reporting that says that Trump asked a businessman to organize a party with underage girls where he had him fly all of these girls in with $30,000 budget for airfare and limos to pick them up at the airport. These girls were all decked out, expecting to meet all VIPs. And then he goes on to say, this is a Jeffrey Epstein party, basically. So there is a lot of there. And let's end with this, because we have all this information. But now we also have firsthand accounts from people who knew Epstein and knew Trump. And this is what Jeffrey Epstein's ex said about the real relationship between Donald Trump and Epstein. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to keep following this. Please do subscribe, and let's keep making sure this story doesn't stop. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.
They were best friends. I dated Jeffrey for a period of more or less, I think about 4 or 5 months. And the only friend that he would mention every time we saw each other or had a phone conversation was Donald. And he would share a lot of anecdotes. I have plenty of anecdotes. And yeah, they were very close, and they were up to no good.